Yo, I know what you're here for. Let's get to that sports talk. And we got my boy Vance in the building right here. Shout out your boy Vance. Introduce yourself, Vance. Tell them a little bit about yourself,
So,
Vance.
for those that don't know me, Dino and I go back quite a bit.
Right,
My
way back.
freshman year, yeah, we go freshman year. My freshman year at college. I think he's a little older. We did a radio show together called Inside the Lines. I still have that going. I'm going to bring it back with this guy though because our chemistry on air was just great. We always talked
Yeah,
sports and it was always a good time. So I can't wait
yeah.
to. This has been. I wanted to do this for a long time, but there's always been stuff
Yeah,
that's come up
this has been in the making, but
for a
it's a
long
lot of
time.
stuff in life that
Hmm.
work in different type of situations
Yeah.
to where we got to build up to doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to
Yep.
get the right type of equipment. I got to get a camera. I got to get all my stuff
Yeah.
going. But this guy right here in the class we were in communications, bro, inspired
Yeah.
me to make this channel and inspired me to talk sports and do my things at the stadium and all that stuff. So it kind of gave me a spark in the direction I wanted to go with my life in like a type of career. So shout out to boy Vance.
I want to give a shout out to you though, because the first time we did this, and we'll get into sports quickly, guys, but I want to give a shout out to this guy because the first time we were on air, I had to do the intro, and I had to like go from the commercial break to the intro and like get us rolling. I was so scared. He will tell you if you ever meet him. He
Yeah.
will tell you. I was
Hey,
sweating profusely. I could barely talk. He's like, "You got this." He's like, "Take a deep breath. It's just you and me here. Let's do this."
yeah. I was nervous too, and I'm just a person that's like, all right, it's gonna be okay. We just can't stop talking. And the thing is, me and Vance love sports. So the thing is, once we get to
Yeah,
start talking about sports, you in your element, and that's what you love. So boom, it
absolutely,
got us to it. So
absolutely.
right with that, let's get into our first
Yes,
topic.
let's
We
do
got
it.
Michigan winning the national championship, Jim Harbaugh, and just give
Kalen
me your take on
DeBoer.
that. Like,
Yeah.
what do you
So
think of that?
for those that don't know, I come at this from a weird perspective. I'm a diehard Ohio State fan. So I just need to put that out there.
Yeah,
I watched the game 34-13, obviously. You and I had talked about this previously. There are a lot of uncharacteristic drops for Washington. That's no slight at
yeah.
Michigan because what Michigan's offense
Yeah,
can
that
control
was a lot
Washington's
of problem
offense
because
does. Yeah.
Michigan was sending pressure and they got
Yes.
Penix off of his groove. Like last game he was in his groove against Texas. He was in his groove. He wasn't missing a pass. He was balling. He looked like a top two prospect in the league at quarterback. And then Michigan, with all their talent up front, they sent the pressure and they got him off his goal, and he couldn't get the ball in type of
No.
situations to where they could score. Like that fourth down was critical in them getting
Yes.
that first down because that kind of sent that game into a roller coaster for Washington for real.
I think another thing with that is I said this to you off air. I wanted Washington to win the game being an Ohio State fan, but the real
Mhm.
side of me knew Michigan was just a better team. They have been all year.
Yeah, like it's just like TCU last year. Like
Oh,
Washington's kind of like that team like TCU that's
but
in there and it's like
TCU didn't put up a fight though. Washington put up a
yeah,
fight.
yeah. Washington put up a little bit of a fight until like kind of like in the fourth quarter when that pick
The
kind
interception,
of
yeah,
happened
yeah.
and that's when it got it out of proportion. But the defense of Washington actually stepped up and held this game within like 14 points. And through the almost the full game, it's been like they are keeping them in there. But the offense of Washington just couldn't pick up where it left off last game with Texas. And I was expecting even a closer game than this. I was expecting for Penix
I
to
was
still
too.
throw dimes because their wide receivers have been so talented all year and making plays on corners and stuff like that. And for them to score one touchdown that whole game is kind of crazy. Like
I said this
crazy.
to a friend of mine on the phone yesterday. I said to him, the game against Texas, Penix looked like the number one pick. Against Michigan, he looked like a second rounder.
Yeah. Yeah. A game against Michigan, he definitely that's the thing. He looked like a second round pick, but he kind of got that injury in the back half of the game. at the beginning of the game, it's just it's a huge game. The national championship is a huge game, and Michigan has been ready for it since the talks of them stealing signs and that situation with Harbaugh getting suspended, and I kind of motivated that team to go and win it all. And do I feel like that had this championship has something to do with the signs, like them winning it? Did it give them an advantage? Did it give them a disadvantage? I didn't feel like it gave them an advantage. I feel like they were just the best team against, and they were well schemed. Their Harbaugh has got that team ready to go, and for him to be off the field during suspension and come back onto the field, and that team still being good without him, that kind of tells you where that team was at, and they've been the best team all year.
I'm going to fight back on one thing you said about them not caring about the suspension. As a Big Ten homer myself, I do feel like they cared because I heard this today.
I thought I said they kind of cared. Maybe I missed.
No, yeah, you said that you did this. Okay, so I heard this today, and I'm going to say this: two things can be true. One, you won the national championship. 2024, you're national champions. That is true. What is also true is you stole signs. Both things can be true. Do I like that Michigan won? No, but they're the national champions. I give them respect for that. They also stole signs from a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
While
they stole some. Yeah.
Yes, while they are national champions, there will be it won't be tainted, but there'll be like Barry Bonds' home run record. There'll be an asterisk.
Kind of like the Astros and their situation and how they still won even though they cheated. There's a lot of teams like lately who have cheated and they've won the championship. But
both
I feel like
can be true.
Yeah. Both things can be true. You could take it as an advantage. You could take it as a disadvantage because they stole signs from like their future opponents, and that can give you a serious advantage. But who knows what other teams are doing the same thing? You know, they got away with it for so long.
That makes a really good point.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of teams cheat. There's a lot of money involved in college football. There's a lot of money involved in NFL football. You've seen Bill Belichick, one of the best teams, the best dynasty in probably the decade, and you see them inflating footballs and him stealing signs. And in order to sometimes to be the best, you got to figure out a way to have an advantage over other opponents and win games. So
I think
it goes back to you're not trying.
I think it goes back to a quote that you said on air once. To be the best, you got to beat the best.
Yeah. But you got.
How far do you
take? If you're not cheating, you're not trying, bro. I don't care.
But how far do you? But for that quote, how far do you take that?
Well, you take it. You don't take it as far as like it's okay that you're just cheating. Like anytime you're cheating, it's supposed to be a bad thing. So like. But I just feel like in this case, the Michigan was just the better team in the playoffs to begin with. Even though the signs were taken away, Harbaugh not winning a championship for 38 seasons. His dad has won a national championship. His brother has won a Super Bowl. I just feel like this was his time. And him coming from the NFL back to college, and he beats Ohio State. He gets his team to the national championship. He devastated by losing to TCU last year, and now he comes back this year. It's just a lot of motivation in this game to begin with. So I feel like the Michigan was more motivated. JJ McCarthy looks like a top prospect in the league and will be a starting NFL quarterback here soon because a lot of teams in the NFL need a quarterback.
I think another thing with that,
they need a coach and quarterback. So Harbaugh,
you said it really well. Well. I think you should have used the word. I mean, I'll just say it. Destined.
Yeah,
because it was all the stuff was against them. Everyone thought they cheated. No, they didn't deserve this. They said no. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna whip Bama. We're gonna whip Washington. We're gonna whip Ohio State. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and you just can't tell me that because that Bama game was kind of close. It could have went either way. I just felt like the Michigan had their number in the second half, and they just came out on top. Alabama could have easily came out on top if they made plays on offense, but Michigan, they made plays, and you can't take that away. You can't take this championship away from Harbaugh. You
No.
can't take it to take. They haven't won. They haven't won in what 26 years. They haven't won a national title, so
26, yep.
you can't take this one away from them.
I said to
to
a friend of mine, it came full circle. I'll explain to you why. The first 14 playoff, 2014. Do you know who won it?
Who won it?
Ohio State.
Yep.
The
Ohio
rival
State.
won it a decade later, the last year of the 14 playoff. Their biggest rival wins it. Full circle moment right there.
Exactly.
Now the thing I need to go ahead.
Yeah, no, you got it. You got it.
The thing I need to ask you though, was that game for you yesterday? Who impressed you more? Michigan's offense or Michigan's defense?
I would say actually Michigan's offense was kind of surprising yesterday. Running back's name, forget his name, but he came
Which
in.
one? Blake Corum, Donovan
and
Edwards?
It was Edwards, thing number 7.
Donovan
He came
Edwards,
in and got two. He came in there and went to work. He ain't been in there all season. He comes in, goes to work, gets 2 touchdowns, and that offense was moving.
If there's any Ohio State
I
fans,
would say that
yeah.
The defense, I would say, had came up on top better than the offense. Not to say that both sides wasn't playing really well, because Washington's defense was stopping Michigan.
Yes.
At certain points, Michigan was struggling to drive down the field and score and get this game out of reach. They could have had it out of reach early, but they went for it on 4th down. Linebacker makes a serious play on the opposite side of the field. That's another play where they could have went on top, but the Washington defense played good, played well. They got to the quarter. Michigan got to the quarterback on Penix. That's what really set the game right there. And I think after Penix was off his
game.
Yeah, he was off his
rhythm.
Yeah. I think that's what set the game up. And I think the defense of Michigan actually set the tone to begin with. So another thing is, now since we're talking about Michigan national championship and that's over, where would Jim Harbaugh coach? And that's my question for you.
So I have a few thoughts on this. Now, we've all obviously discussed there's obviously going to be that whole thing of him staying there. Now,
exactly.
Does he stay there? I don't know. Does he leave? As you said off air, I'm going to quote something that Dino said. He would make more money in the NFL. True. Would your legacy be the same? Because he played at Michigan as a quarterback, won them a national title. Would his legacy be the same? Yep. I think he's already done what he needed to do at Michigan. Now, here's my question. If I am, you might think I'm nuts here. There's 3 teams I think he would consider. 2 I think he would go to. 3 I think he would consider. The 3 are LA Chargers, Las Vegas Rams, Commanders.
Yep. Commanders. Yep.
But I think the 2 he considers, Vegas and LA.
Yeah, I think that LA job is a job that I would think every coach would want to want. You got Khalil Mack, you got Bosa,
Herbert.
You got Herbert, Keenan, Williams. This team has been good. Yeah. It's just they've been disappointing every season. I don't know. Stanley just did not do a great job there. He just didn't do a great job. And I just feel like if a coach like Harbaugh comes in, a coach like Bill Belichick comes in, they're going to come in and they're going to do well with talent like that. Because just don't let Bill be the GM going to other teams.
I was about to ask you that. I was about to say that. So we'll get to that.
But let's stay on topic with Jim Harbaugh.
I do think Jim Harbaugh, though, I think if he leaves, he's a Charger.
I think my personal opinion, I think he should stay. All money is not good money. You then came to Michigan. He's might be suspended even more next year. That's the thing. He came there and accomplished what he went and set out to accomplish and winning the championship. But as of now, as of lately, NFL has been pushing in coaches and pushing them out like it's nothing. So if Harbaugh comes in there like he did with the 49ers, he took them to a Super Bowl, and then you kind of get let go. Like once you don't win one, because it's all about winning Super Bowls. Your franchise has to win Super Bowls. Then the price of your franchise goes up. Then your likeness goes up. Then you make way more money and all that stuff. So when you come in, that team is going to be looked at just like Russ, Sean Payton. That team is going to be looked at as, bro, we want y'all to be in the playoffs. We need to see y'all in the playoffs. We need you to contend for championships. We need to see
And
that.
who would have?
So if he comes in and he just flails and
Yes.
it just doesn't go as planned, the NFL will send you back to college in a blink.
And who would have thought that Russ and Sean Payton wouldn't have worked? Who would have thought that?
Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't think that. I
No,
thought
me
Sean
neither.
Payton was going to come in and the whole thing was going to change around. But soon as Sean Payton came in, it's like he had this grudge against Russell Wilson. And then they come to him after the Chiefs win and say, dude, you're going to have to change your contract or we're going to cut you.
We're
Like,
gonna
that's
bench
kind of
you.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jim Harbaugh, Chargers situation is great. I know Josh Harris, new owner of the Commanders, has reached out to Jim Harbaugh's agent, wants him to be the head coach of there. There's a lot of talent. Atlanta Falcons is a good situation. Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Drake London. That's a good
Tennessee.
situation. You can, yeah. It's a lot of teams out there with a lot of talent where head coaches just failed at creating great talent and winning with that great talent. And I just feel like Jim Harbaugh, he could come in and make us. He will be an attractive coach for players.
Yes.
That's another thing.
I think the reason that is.
Yeah.
Go ahead. The reason I say is I don't mean to cut you off, but I say this because it just came to me. Look at a Kyle Shanahan. Look at a Sean McVay. Look at a Harbaugh. McDermott, quarterback bails him out quite a bit. These offensive minds. Anyone with a brain knows Jim Harbaugh is one of the best offensive minds ever.
Exactly.
And the NFL right now is moving toward an offensive league. Jim Harbaugh belongs in the NFL. Is he going to go? We don't know that, but he belongs in the NFL if anyone does.
He belongs in the NFL, and after, like I said, it's hard to even get to a Super Bowl. So for you to get to a Super Bowl or go against your brother in Super Bowl 47, lights cut off. We remember all that situation. To even do that is phenomenal. You were a quarterback you were a backup here and there, quarterback in the NFL for 14 seasons. The guy has football under his belt. So when you have football under your belt and you know it, you need a coach like that actually knows and actually that deserves a spot in the league. And after winning a national championship with these young players and JJ McCarthy, you kind of gotta open your arms to Jim Harbaugh and welcome him back into the league.
Yes.
Because I want him to stay. I think he should stay. Not all money is good money. How they're pushing out coaches, I think Michigan loves you better, like more than they ever loved you. And it's only going to get better from here. You won a national championship as of lately with the team. And now you go to the NFL. You will be liked in the NFL, but will the love be there like Michigan? Will the love be there like college football? And
I think it will be for a team like the Chargers or the Commanders for one reason. Chargers never won a Super. They've been to one. They've never won one.
Yep.
You haven't been to one since what, 92, 93?
But not to cut you off, the problem I'm having with teams like that is my team is expecting soon as you come in as the head coach, results. You have to come in and win automatically because our fan base will move on from you fast. I'm a fan of a team that hasn't won since 1995 and back in the 70s and stuff. Like, I need you to win now. We haven't went to the playoffs since 2020. I am a fan that will move on from somebody that's not giving me results right away. And that's a problem. That's
why I feel the Chargers job is so good for him, because the Chargers have never won a ring. And as you said, they have all the pieces. You have a great quarterback, Austin Eckler, 13, what's his name? Receiver. I'm blanking. Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Keenan
Allen.
All those
guys. Khalil Mack, Nick, Joey Bosa. Like, you have the pieces. The Chargers, if you win them a Super Bowl, if he can do for the Chargers, if he goes there, what he did at Michigan, get them back after a long time and win them a ring, he's a Charger legend if that happens.
Exactly. You would be a Charger legend. You come to Washington, you will be a Washington legend. You go to the Falcons have that hiccup against Tom Brady
Yeah.
and that comeback Super Bowl, and you come in and you win the Super Bowl for that team. Of course, you'll be a legend. But if you do not win, he
Being
will move
Harbaugh,
on
though, I
from
think
you. That's all that's happening.
being Jim Harbaugh, though, I think they would give him an opportunity to succeed.
Okay. So we got a little bit, you know what I'm saying? We wanted to talk about that. We had something we needed to talk about, but big news. We got big news. Ja Morant tears his labrum in his shoulder, and now he's out for the year. Reactions? Any reactions, Vance? Any reactions?
So I said this to you before we went live. I think you're looking at a guy who is, when LBJ's gone, this guy can be the face of the league. Talent-wise, skill-wise, looking back at it now.
Everything in his bag. He has everything in his bag. And after just a month ago, you coming back from a lengthy suspension, which he did something stupid. It's your second time being stupid. But other than that, you come back last month. You show the league why we need you in the league. We need
you
Ja Morant
literally put the league on notice.
Yes, when he came back, he just was a straight talent off the rip. He hit the buzzer beater. Coming back, winning that game, and then he dunks on Wembanyama and stuff like that. Like and then the Grizzlies, they start winning automatically as soon as they come back. Before Ja Morant was there, struggling badly, only winning like single-digit games. They have a bad record right now, and I could see it getting even worse with Ja Morant out.
So my thing with that is, I honestly think I gotta stop cutting you off. He's the guy that I feel like once LBJ's gone, he can be the face of the league. Now, we thought about that draft. Zion. Well, I think the verdict's kind of out on him. He needs to get in shape. Ja Morant, though, is a guy, he's special. He can shoot the lights out. He can dunk the lights out. He's just got to get this together.
Exactly. He's giving you flashes, and he's still young. That's the thing. He's still young. He still could be, like I said, the face of the league. And it's so disappointing to see the guy off the field again after being off the field by self-inflicted wounds, and now you're being off the basketball court due to a shoulder injury that's putting you out for the rest of the year. And we still have a lot of the year to go. We're nowhere near the playoffs. We're nowhere near your playoff. So we're not going to see you until next year. That next year, that's devastating for the guy after just waiting for so long to come back and show the world why he's still Ja Morant. Like, and then he comes back and then he tears something in his shoulder, and it's kind of like, dude, now the narrative could start to be, bro, you're getting injured, you're getting self-inflicted wounds. Is he really on the basketball court? Because look at, I'm not to compare them, but they kind of the same player. Look at John Wall, a great basketball player, great mind. Bradley Beal, great players. But can you stay on the court? Will you stay healthy? Will you not put yourself in bad situations off the court and sending yourself to another team, and it starts to become a roller coaster, a domino effect of just not being a franchise player. You haven't been acting like a franchise player before the suspension, and then you get suspended for doing stupid stuff, and now you come back and we remember why you're the franchise guy, why you have the shoe, why you're the brand, and then you get injured, and now that all wipes away. It's all gone. Like,
now for me, where I stand with him is the John Wall comparison is a fair comparison, very fair comparison. And I gotta say, for you being a DC guy, that's gotta hurt. Having him and Beal, neither can stay healthy. I mean,
John Wall is my favorite guy.
That's a very fair comparison. Now, what I will say though is where I think they're a little bit different is John Wall couldn't shoot like that.
Yeah, John Wall couldn't shoot he was a Westbrook, put it like that. But at some points he was hitting clutch shots. Like Westbrook, he would hit a clutch shot for you. Like, even though he's shooting bad, he might be shooting bad all year.
When you need him,
comes down to that play that you need, he's going to make that play.
Yes.
So it's a bad situation for the Memphis Grizzlies. You can't as a fan base, and I know like almost every single Memphis Grizzly fan has a Ja Morant jersey up there. You got Marcus Smart in the trade. Uh, Dylan Brooks, the man is, I mean, what's the guy's name? Forget the guy's name,
I'm
but
blanking on it too.
Steven Adams, all those guys, you just don't have a team built. That team is built around the franchise guy. You have teams that are built around a franchise guy, and then for your franchise guy to be gone, then it's like, what should we do? We can see the Memphis Grizzlies pick in the lottery pick
That
next
team, in a
year.
way, that team you just named in a way reminds you of the 2018 Cavs. You got a bunch of
Exactly.
guys and a superstar.
Yeah.
You got Kevin Love, all these boys,
Yep.
J.R. Smith, Tristan Thompson. You got
The
a bunch
team.
of guys and then
Yep.
the guy.
Yeah, you got LeBron. Like that's a great comparison. You got LeBron, and then you got a bunch of guys who want to add to the level of LeBron. So when he's gone, or the other superstars gone, like Kyrie Irving, and you don't really have any type of, like, you really need that player. You really need
Yes.
LeBron James. You really need Ja Morant. You really need these players to make yourself relevant.
The rest of
So
this season is going to show how much they need him.
exactly, that's going to, as the rest of the, like I said, they were bad before he even came back from suspension. They were
I think they
bad
had like
then.
9 wins.
Yeah, so I can see that still ending up that in that case of them being bad,
Yep.
and they're going to be picking in lottery this upcoming draft, and hopefully they can get a player for Ja Morant. He comes back healthy, and no type of off the field situation hurts the guy. He's recovering from the shoulder, and hopefully he has a good season next year. Now, NFL, back to the NFL. You know
Let's
what's
do it.
playoffs going on. We got matchups all weekend. Next weekend, we got wild card weekend. For the for the first game, we're gonna talk about it. We got the Bills versus the Dolphins. Would you? That's a prime
That already
time game.
happened.
I mean not the Bills versus the Dolphins. The Chiefs versus the Dolphins. My fault. The Chiefs versus the
No, you're good.
Dolphins. We want that.
Um,
Like I said, the Dolphins put themselves in that situation, and that's my problem. Is you haven't beat any good teams, any special teams, any teams over 500. Only one game won above a team that's above 500. You just can't win these impactful games, and that's why you end up
they're 1 in
now
5 against.
in the
Yep.
wild card.
Yep. Now, I think where I'll go on this is winnable. I shouldn't say this, but it's the truth. This is winnable for Miami for one reason. Kansas City drops the ball way too much. Do I think Kansas City is going to lose? I do not. But Kansas City drops the ball a lot. Now, where I got to give Miami credit, Tyreek Hill. Yes, it's going to be 2 degrees outside, but he said he's calling it his revenge tour. He knows KC. But
that's the thing.
I'm going to pick KC, but I'm not going to feel good about it. I'm not going to feel good about it because they dropped the ball way too much. But to me, they're a better team. They just dropped the ball too much.
This is the reason why I would say I will feel good picking the Chiefs. The Chiefs in the playoffs are just a way different team than what they are in the regular season. We've seen them win time and time again. Yes, the wide receivers are a serious problem, and they can end up losing the game to wide receiver play. You have good talent there. Rashee Rice, Pachenko, Travis Kelce. You got the Tony's a good player. It's just you haven't a lot of wide receivers just haven't shown up for the team in an impactful way. But when you have the Tyreek Hill played the Chiefs earlier this season, and he really didn't do much in that game. Am I wrong?
I think no, you're not wrong. I think another thing with that.
I think he had under like 100 yards in that game. Really didn't do much. So the Chiefs have sometimes it can come back to bite you where Tyreek Hill goes off against the Chiefs. But then again, as a coach and Andy Reid, as a quarterback, as a team who knows Tyreek Hill in a type of way, they know how to shut him down. They practice against him. They know how he runs. They know how fast he can get vertical and put some guys on him, make it tough for Tua in the pocket. Chris Jones is a godly defensive player in getting to the quarterback. that team just knows how to play in the playoffs. And the Dolphins, McDaniels has done a great job with that Dolphins team. And then the front office did a great job putting some fast players, some bodies around Tua. I would say Tua is one of those guys, bro. You take some of those players away, I don't know if he plays that great, but he's been playing in an improvement season. And Mike McDaniels is a great coach for that team. And I just think they take the L here.
I agree with you, but I agree with you for one reason. Exactly what you just said. We know who Tua is without Tyreek Hill and Waddle. We know who he is. And I don't like this word, he's a borderline bust. I don't like saying that.
Yeah. But I wouldn't call him a bust because he's still doing his thing right now, even though he got players now that helped his career. Because with Flores and those guys back before McDaniels came and all that stuff, they were thinking about moving on from Tua. Let's not forget that. Like, he was not about to be the quarterback of the Dolphins because how bad he was playing. But then they got talent. They built up talent, and yeah.
So to touch on it, I want to also touch on this idea that you said they know how to cover Tyreek. That is true. This is when this is when having a guy like Tyrann Mathieu would benefit you, and they don't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that game, I think I'm gonna give the dub to the Chiefs. You got who? Who you got?
I got the Chiefs, but I don't feel good about it.
All right, Chiefs for Vance, Chiefs for you got Dino over here. Now for another game, we got Browns versus the Texans. Cj Stroud has been a dog. Let you start the floor here for this game.
Okay. So Dino knows this. I actually saw the Browns play live, so I can speak on this quite a bit better than I can these other teams. I saw the Browns play against my Niners. They beat my Niners with PJ Walker, so a little bit different quarterback situation. Now, anyone that went to the school we went to knows this. The Browns were the laughingstock at our school. They have been they are. But the Browns are scary for me for one reason. You're playing with house money. You have a quarterback who's in his late 30s, nothing to lose, already has a Super Bowl.
Yep.
No Nick Chubb, I get it. Amari Cooper's there. David Njoku's there. They're playing with house money.
Huckett sometimes ball out a little bit.
Yes. I feel like when this game happens, I'm going to take the Browns because they're playing with house money.
And they've been on a roll. Joe Flacco is motivated now. Like back when he was on the Browns last year or whatnot, he wasn't really the guy. Really not. But you got a chance now. He has a chance now. And my guy Joe Flacco, he won a Super Bowl. He's been in situations where he's been in the playoffs. This team in the Browns, like you said, are playing with house money. I got the Browns beating the Texans. But it's a point to where you said, I'm going to take this from you in the last game. I'm not comfortable with it. No. Cj Stroud, he's that guy. That man is a baller.
D'Amico Ryan's coach of the year.
Yeah. D'Amico is coach of the year. The 100%. CJ Stroud is the rookie of the year. The man he's been balling on all forms and play. Like we were talking about MVP with CJ Stroud before he got the injury. Before he got the injury, this is an MVP caliber quarterback who is leading this team in the places we thought they would never been. But better than Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was a baller with the Texans, but it's kind of looking similar or even better now that they got the coach. Now the front office is better. You got the quarterback now. You got the talent. And the thing is, what CJ Stroud is playing with, what top number one receiver do you really even have?
D-Hop's gone, dude. I can't name one.
Yeah, like Collins, like I can barely even name a receiver the guy has, but he's out there balling. So
I think another thing,
Browns. Yeah, go
ahead. I think another thing with that, what makes it even more impressive, is this. We know who the Texans are, but even with CJ Stroud, it didn't matter. because the Texans, they're a laughing stock. They're not anymore, though. For a long time, we knew who they were. They had J.J. Watt, and they couldn't win. But it just proves when you get the quarterback right, good Lord.
Yeah, it can send your team in places you never thought, because these guys then had DeAndre Hopkins. These guys then had Johnson. These guys then had, like you said, JJ. They didn't had some key players and some historic Hall of Famers on that team. But when the quarterback situation is out of whack, and they're wasting players' careers, the front office isn't really all set on what they want to do. Do you want to win or do you want to lose? And now with the quarterback they've got now, I can see them winning. This is a game that, like I said, could be close. The Texans could win this game. Both teams, like you say, are playing. The Browns are playing with house money. The Texans are playing with house money. You got a rookie quarterback. You got a bunch of rookies on this team. I don't really even know a player that's really on a big contract on this team. You're playing with house money. Joe Flacco's backup. You're playing with
I got to ask a question here. Off topic, but I feel like it's a fair question because of last year.
Yep.
Would we hold Cj Stroud are we going to hold him to the same standard that we held Brock Purdy to? Because last pick in the draft, number 2 pick. To you, I want your opinion. What's more impressive to you?
I don't think you can hold Cj Stroud to that same standard as Brock Purdy. Like I said, Brock Purdy has came in a big way for that team because, like I said, people could say that Brock Purdy is a quarterback that just has a lot of talent around him, but they had Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes, they went to Super Bowls. You had games, but he's always kind of been the reason why you didn't win the big one. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't get to the big one. You really want to move on. Trade Lance. You had the draft picks and trading the draft picks and getting Lance. Kind of woofed on that. But Brock Purdy has came in and he's the leader of that team. The team is behind him. Fan base is behind him. The front office is behind him. The head coach is behind him. And that's all you need as a quarterback. And it doesn't matter where you're selected. With CJ Stroud, I can't compare him to Brock Purdy because it always comes down to this with Brock Purdy, but it's going to come down to this is the talent. CJ Stroud, I don't know who he's playing with out there. Dalton Schultz at tight end. Like you know what I'm saying? With Brock Purdy, you got when that team with the 49ers is healthy, can't be stopped. You got Debo, you got Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Hall of Famer, Trent Williams, Hall of Famer, defensive line, Chase Young, you stole him from me. Bosa, you got Bosa on the other edge. You got DBs. What's his name? Hugh Funga. The guy.
I don't know who Funga. Yeah, he tore his ACL. Yeah.
The team is just out of this world talented, and when you have a offensive coordinator and a coach like Kyle Shanahan under his guy, like I said, the background is like your dad coached. He was a great coach when he was coaching
Mike Shanahan,
at a certain point. So when you got a coach like that who's been studying the game since he was a child, basically, studying under his dad, and now you got a team that's talented on all phases of the game, you're set to win the Super Bowl. Now,
I meant that question real quickly more so in terms of we'll get into another day, but I meant that more so in terms of like quarterback as rookie quarterbacks. But yeah, you made a good point there.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Next game.
Yeah. So next game, Steelers versus the Bills. With TJ Watt out of this game, I'm gonna set the floor for this game. With TJ Watt out of this game, I can say the Steelers are not winning this game. The Bills, these past couple games, beating the Dolphins last week, it's clinching their division. I think they're at home. Are they at home? Bills at home.
Bills are at home. Bills are the 2 seed.
Bills at home, and Steelers they're known for the cold too. Mm-hmm. The Bills are known for the cold. That's a different cold up there in Boston.
Yes, it is.
And that's a different cold out there. So that can factor into between it. But with a Hall of Famer like TJ Watt out of the defensive lineup and not giving Josh Allen kind of you got Hayward. He's kind of old though. But if you're not getting any pressure on Josh Allen and he can sit in the pocket and we know this guy can take off and run over a defensive player, and then you still got Stephon Diggs who's ready to eat out there. I think Davis should be coming back.
Gabe Davis,
game.
Gabe. James Cook.
Yeah. All those guys are talented on that offensive side in these past couple weeks, and this is the month that you really want to have that push into the playoffs to where
I
you want to
agree.
start winning. And they've been winning these last couple weeks and been showing us why they were the team in the championships and really getting to the Super Bowl. But this is a team that can be in the Super Bowl, has the potential to be in the Super Bowl. And the Steelers, their quarterback situation, I'm gonna go with that. You got to get the quarterback situation right.
So for me, for Dino knows this. Josh Allen is my current favorite NFL player. That kid is an absolute freak. The Bills win this
Yes,
game. He even said it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you know it either, Dino, off the top of your head, but without TJ Watt, they don't win games. They just don't.
they don't. They're not going to win. They're not going to
No.
win against the Bills. That's just a game that I'm not really shaky on. I think the Bills are the favorites. They're the favorites. Without
Now,
that
I
team,
think another
yeah.
thing, only concern I have, and it's a concern, but it's a small concern. Minka, they're
Mhm.
going to put Minka on Debo, or they're going to put Minka on Steph.
Yep.
That's the only concern I have. Josh Allen's going to do what he does. He's going to turn the ball over. If he doesn't, great. Josh Allen's known for turning the ball over, but he's also known for throwing deep, deep shots.
Yeah.
So
And this team with the Steelers still has talent on their defense, but when you got a captain and a leader like TJ gone, best player, one of the best top defensive linemen in the league for these past 2 to 3 years, the best to me, the best talented defensive line person, defensive end in the league, and he's not on your defense with Josh Allen, who can run in the pocket and who can
literally run
throw.
you.
Yeah, literally run you over. You can't. I don't think we can see the Steelers going past that round. Next game, Dallas Cowboys versus Green Bay. We've always seen this team into the playoffs. We see this team go against each other. A lot of moments between these teams in the playoffs. What do
Yes.
you think about this game?
Now, this is the one for me that I think could be a little more difficult. Do I go with my heart or do I go with my head?
Yeah,
Because you and I have the same thoughts on that one team from Dallas. We don't like them, but they're a better team. But
They
to
are
be
better.
fair to them, they're way better than Green Bay. Green Bay is probably the youngest team in the NFL, youngest team in the playoffs. Jordan Love, these last about 10 games, has played ridiculous. Has he played a defense like this, though? No.
No, not at all. And said on this point, I'm gonna let you speak. A lot of teams have been in the playoffs due to other teams not having starting quarterbacks.
Yes.
7-8, 8-8, getting into the 7th seed, under 500, just hitting 500. Jordan Love and his team have struggled in this season. They have had light in this season, and Jordan Love is on a big stage at his young age, and I think this is just too much of a big game for him. Yes, I hate Dallas. I hate them. This is the game they could choke on because they're the favorites in this game, and I think the history behind the Cowboys and Green Bay in the playoffs. If you go by the history, it leans towards Green Bay winning. Cowboys have some sort of situation since the Dez Bryant drop. We all remember that. They haven't been on the same page with Green Bay. That was with Rodgers. With Jordan Love and a young quarterback like this, who knows how he plays in the playoffs?
So for me, that's the unknown that you just said is a very good point. Because the things that we said about we don't know about Jordan Love, we know about Dak. Dak is a regular season juggernaut. Play a team, say the Niners. I don't know. Not good. So I'm going to go with Dallas, but it goes back to that. It goes back to like the Miami game. I'm going to go with Dallas. Would I be shocked if Dallas loses, though? No. I absolutely would not be shocked.
I wouldn't, because this is another thing here. This team in Green Bay is a team in the playoffs that has nothing to lose. We don't see Green Bay even getting nearly close to the Super Bowl.
No.
Nobody on earth is predicting the Green Bay, unless you're lucky or you're just not
you're
watching
a diehard
football.
Green Bay fan.
Yeah, unless you're a diehard Green Bay fan and you feel like your team is going to the Super Bowl, then that's that. But other than that, nobody has Green Bay in the Super Bowl. So they're playing with house money.
Yes.
So me and Vance going with the Cowboys, even though in my heart I don't want to, and I don't even want to see him in the playoffs. But I'm gonna go with the talent. CD Lamb, Dak Prescott's playing well. Interceptions are down from last year. Tony Pollard, he can bounce out and make a play when he gets going. Brandon Cooks has been a central player for this team and been making plays almost every week, which is a
Yep.
surprise, even though he's been good all his career. So great Cowboys winning for me and Vance. Next game, we got the Rams versus the Lions. This could go either way.
This is really the Stafford Bowl for me because he's playing his old team. I'm going to say
Decker
something here.
reported. Decker did report.
Yes, he did. Oh my God. I watched that live with my dad. We'll get into that another time.
I did too.
So this is where I'm going to say I am on record. Now I'm probably going to be way off. I think the NFC title game is Detroit versus San Francisco.
Yeah.
I think Detroit wins this game.
Okay.
I think Detroit wins this game.
But
this is the game for me most of all that I'm not sure of. Because the Rams, when they get hot, like they won a title 2 years ago. Same quarterback, same head coach. Took Baltimore this year to lost, but took Baltimore to overtime, but lost. But took them to overtime.
Yeah. And Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford, coach who's been in the playoffs.
Rookie of the year, Puka or CJ? Which one of those two?
And the 3-crown king in Cooper Kupp last year. If he can do things in the playoffs, then we know how good he could be.
Yes.
And Sean McVay, he has a Super Bowl under his belt. Sometimes experience just beats you. Experience just beats you. You haven't won a division title in what? When did they won a division title, Vance? I
don't think ever.
The Lions, they haven't won in
before
forever.
This year.
They're just now. Yeah, they just now hanging up a banner now for what 40 plus years. That's kind of crazy.
Sanders, Calvin Ridley, or Calvin Johnson.
Just think about it. Whoever's watching, just think about it. You haven't won a division since Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders. So this game is important for the Lions, and I just feel like even though they've been bad for so long, for the game to be this important, I think you have to come out here and win this game. The Rams have been on and off roller coaster almost all season, but they have the talent on offense. Defense, they still got the godly man, Aaron Donald. The man can show up in many ways and has been Defensive Player of the year almost every year in his prime, winning a Super Bowl. So sometimes you gotta go by experience. And in this game, in my heart, I just feel like the Lions need to pull this one off. This, like Vance said, I am shaky about this game. The Rams can win. The Lions can win. The Lions can lose a key game. They can end up sending 3 linemen to a referee and not reporting, and that could end you the game right there. You know what I'm saying? So anything can happen in this game. Let's look out for it for wild card weekend. We're turned up for it. Even though the regular season has ended, all football is done for your guy over here. But we are
I need to ask a question because my team doesn't play this week. Just think about this for a minute, Dino. Just think. Yep. There's 3 teams that have never won a Super Bowl. All 3 have a real shot at doing that.
Yep.
When's the last time you could say that? Browns, Lions, Bills.
Yeah.
When's the last time you could say all 3 had a legit shot?
Facts. The Bills, the thing is, the Bills haven't had a legit shot at the last 4 or 5 years. They've just been disappointed for some reason.
No, Kansas City happened.
Well, overtime is just kryptonite. Overtime is just kryptonite for the guy Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Last game, final game, Eagles versus Buccaneers. The Eagles. We're going to set the stage for my guy Vance. Eagles, Buccaneers. How we feeling in this game?
So let's just put this out there. I'm going to help you out. Eagles season ends this weekend.
Yep.
It's done.
So that's what you think.
Do I,
Hey, look,
and you're gonna call me a hypocrite because you know I'm not a big Baker Mayfield guy. I'm not. You know I'm not.
Is anybody really a big Baker Mayfield guy?
No, but here's my thing.
Like,
here's my thing. The Sean Desai firing for Matt Patricia made it worse. Since the 49er game, point me out a game that they've looked great in. Since we've annihilated them, tell me a game that they've looked great in. I'll wait.
And the Matt Patricia was so much of like a surprising signing because he's been like, even though he was an offensive coordinator with the New England Patriots, it hasn't been good for Matt Patricia. He was a head coach of the Lions once. It wasn't he? He was the head coach of the Lions, and that wasn't a good situation. That was a bad situation. So the last coaching jobs, if we can go by the history of the last couple years of Matt Patricia's coaching jobs, it hasn't been good at all. So I think he is no way the guy just off the rip comes into a team who just been in the Super Bowl. You're just in the Super Bowl last year to be coaching this defense and this talented defense at that. And it just hasn't been good. You see the dislocation of the finger of Jalen Hurts. AJ Brown is shooken up. Devontae Smith is kind of broken up. So it's like it's kind of coming back from last year and what happened to y'all, the 49ers, and with Brock Purdy going out. And that kind of failed them that kind of failed y'all. And the only reason why it did fail y'all is because of injuries. And even though injuries are a basis of the Eagles right now, it hasn't been looking good either way if they've been healthy. Jalen Hurts hasn't been playing that well on offense. The defense has been horrible these past month, 2 months. So it could be a build up to a loss against the Buccaneers, but I'm gonna still go with the Philadelphia Eagles. You went to the championship last year. Jalen Hurts, he dislocated his finger. I don't know how he plays in this game or how he's going to move around and get the ball out of his hands. I can see a lot of, if you're betting on it, I feel like Devontae, what's the running back's name?
Smith.
DeAndre
Swift.
DeAndre Swift.
No, that's
DeAndre Swift. Yeah. I can see him running the ball a lot in this game.
Now, the thing I will say about the Eagles is you and I both know this, as they're in your division, so you obviously know this better than me, but they played my team. Yeah. When they were 10-1, Dino, I want you to answer this honestly. They were 10-1. They were winning games they had no business winning. And they don't want to hear that, but they know it's the truth. Like you mentioned, overtime is not good at Josh Allen. Who played that game? Who played better, Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts? Who played better? Josh Allen played better. He just missed one throw because Gabe Davis got the route wrong. So yes, Philly is a good team.
Wide open. I remember that play.
He just ran the wrong route.
Yeah. So in games, in those playoff games, sometimes luck can get you to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Sometimes
that's my point though. Is when they were 10-1, they were winning games that they shouldn't have been winning. Josh Allen played better than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts just made the play that Josh Allen couldn't because Josh Allen didn't have the opportunity to.
Yeah, and I've said this to people. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Cowboys record. Name me teams that they go against the Giants 2 times a year, even though they got blown out last game. They go against Washington 2 times a year. I'm not saying my team's great, and in division rivalries, they can go either way. We had close games with the Eagles, but we're a bad team. The Giants have been a bad team this past year.
I don't mean this to be rude to you. They should beat you. I don't mean that to be rude to you. They should beat you.
Yeah, they should. They should beat you. When you're going to get to an Eagles team who's been to a Super Bowl last year and you're going against Washington, who's been like a laughing stock of the league to say these last couple years with Snyder, you have 2, almost 4 straight wins guaranteed on your schedule. And that's not including other bad teams from different divisions and AFC included in that schedule. Mm-hmm. And you've won a lot of games due to your schedule being that way and you beating under 500 teams and decent teams, and y'all come in to the playoffs with 11 wins. You've been bad these last couple weeks, and like Vance said, I can see this team getting beat by the Buccaneers. I can
Do
see them
you
getting beat.
think? Do you think? Because my team has beaten both. You mentioned Dallas and Philly. My team has beaten both of them. I want. Obviously, you've watched more Philly than I have. Do you
Yep.
think we kind of broke Philly?
Honestly,
Because all I kept hearing from a friend of yours, I'll tell you off stream who I'm talking about. You probably know who I'm talking about. That goes to our college, or once goes to my college.
yeah.
I'm not going to say his name. He was like, well, we played 3 games in 13 days. I understand that. But we also beat you by 23. It wasn't particularly
Yeah.
close.
And it was in a game where we
In
have to
Philly.
prove yeah. And that's the thing in Philly, and that's an environment. And the thing is, you got blown out in this type of way, and we're thinking like this is a game to where the Eagles can prove, or the 49ers can prove that they have a set quarterback against that team who is the better team, and y'all came out as the better team. I just think the Eagles, they
Do
have
you
just
think we
been
broke
playing
them?
bad football. They
Do you
just been
think we
playing bad
broke them?
football. Yeah. And in a situation where
Yeah.
a lot of the times is when these Super Bowl teams win these Super Bowls and they come back the next year, they do decently or they do pretty poorly. And the Jalen Hurts hasn't been good like he was last year. He's not as efficient, and his defense is not as great as it was last year. And they're playing games to where they're winning them like last year, to where sometimes they get lucky and they win them. Sometimes it happens that way. And in this game, Baker Mayfield is not a player that I'm saying Baker Mayfield's going to win this game. Baker Mayfield, he's revived his career. He's became more humble in himself. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Throughout all the commercials and stuff like that, and he had with the
Baker's house, yeah, the
Browns and
progressive ads, yeah.
yeah. He was just full of himself coming out of
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah, coming out of Oklahoma and going to the Browns,
Heisman
finally getting
Trophy.
them. Yeah, finally getting them to the playoffs, and now
Mm-hmm.
he's humble. He's on a Buccaneers team where this is your last rodeo. Let's be real. If Baker Mayfield came out, he was on the Panthers. He was terrible then. He comes on the Buccaneers. If he does bad on the Buccaneers, I can see him as a backup like Carson Wentz. Sometimes your last team is your last team, and he's revived his career, and he has his team sitting on top of the top of his division, and we can see them beating the Eagles. But I think I got the Eagles winning this game.
Before we go, I think what you just said is a very good point about Baker, which is why I'm gonna pick him, but very hesitantly because of what you said. This is Baker's last best shot.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what you said. If he loses this game, I think that the ownership says you're out the building.
Yeah, like said, I don't think, even though the Baker Mayfield has gotten this team into playoff contention, like I said, a lot of teams out here have been injured due to starting quarterbacks. I don't know
Yep.
how many injuries there are, but I think has to be a record.
There's been 60. They said it yesterday. There's been 66 starting quarterbacks this year.
Exactly. So that could be another case to where the Buccaneers made the playoffs due to a lot of other teams being injured. But Baker Mayfield, he's been in this situation before and making the playoffs. So maybe he's motivated into coming into playoffs and actually winning one. If he wins one, I could see the Buccaneers extending him for another couple seasons, but I will be hesitant to do so. I will be a hesitant person. If I'm a GM and saying sign this contract, I will be hesitant for me to give you money the way you've played these last couple years. And this year really hasn't been great. It's been an improvement, but we're not going to say Baker Mayfield had this outstanding season where he threw for 40 touchdowns and he, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really into
and plus that division, and that not to Baker's fault though. That division's pretty easy, and that's not Baker's fault.
Yeah. Exactly. You're in a division with the Panthers, I think, right?
Derek Carr.
Atlanta. Exactly. Atlanta's bad team. Panthers a bad team. Saints bad team. Those are bad teams. Buccaneers, you're not that good of a team, but you're in it.
You're best of whoever's won. I just said with the Buccaneers, they're the best of the worst.
Exactly. Now,
I just think they beat Philly. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, we can see some upsets coming in wild card weekend. We're ready for it. I'm ready for it. Now, we can touch on a little bit about the 49ers and the Ravens and probably our next cast, but is there too much rest going on here for the Baltimore Ravens?
Whew.
You got your starters out for this last regular season game. You have another week. You got a bye week. And then you coming off. You remember last time they got a lot of rest like this, and they were the number 1 seed, and they got the bye week. They
We're talking
didn't
about
play
Baltimore.
good. Baltimore. They lost that.
Yeah,
They
Josh
lost that
Allen
game
beat their.
coming
Yeah,
in.
Josh Allen killed him.
Killed them. So I'm not positive. That's the thing. I'm seeing a 49ers Ravens Super Bowl. That's my prediction. I'm giving you my prediction
I
now.
picked that ahead of time too. But
Yeah,
I will say, I picked that ahead of time too. I don't want to see Brock play like that against them again.
exactly.
I'm fingers crossed that was a one-time thing. 4 interceptions. I don't want to see that again. If he plays like that again,
Yeah,
we're not winning a ring. We're not winning our 6th ring. I want this
exactly.
dude, this kid. People don't understand this, and I'm going to kind of speak to the audience and to you here a little bit. People do not understand how special this kid is. I was watching highlights of he's called the QB Guru. He was breaking down Brock Purdy. He sees the field like a 5th-year veteran. There was a play against, I think it was against you guys. McCaffrey runs out right. McCaffrey's double covered. Ayuk goes this way. No one on him. 30 yards down the field. I didn't even see him, and just right there.
He has
right in his
plays
hand.
where, he has plays because there's a lot of Brock Purdy naysayers out there. There's plays where Brock Purdy is making plays that's Brock Purdy. He's done that. That's a play that he's made. That's not no talent. That's him making plays like he's made plays.
Yeah, like all I hear is like, oh, we can't win without CMC and Debo.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, there's only one Brock Purdy. I'm sorry. There's one.
Yeah. And look what he's playing for. The guy is playing for the franchise. He's playing for a contract. He's on a Mr. Irrelevant contract. He's probably he's the cheapest quarterback in the playoffs.
Making $800,000. Now, I said this to somebody, and again, where we went to school, we're a lot of Steeler fans, and I said to them, "Is it possible?" This is before this season. I said, "Go if this is before this NFL season we're currently in." I said to them, "If Brock Purdy plays better, is it possible the NFL made a mistake in taking him last?" And they said, "No, Kenny Pickett will be better long term." I like Kenny Pickett. I said this off air, and I want to say it to the viewers. Off air, I said to Dino, I want him to be the guy for the Steelers. I don't think he is. He's a Pittsburgh kid. Yeah. He played at Heinz Field, now Acrisure Stadium. They love the kid. I want him to be the guy, but he's just not. And Brock Purdy, though, he made people look stupid. You took 261 people before this kid?
Exactly.
What are we doing?
I mean, it's kind of crazy, but the draft could tell you that people can look at this player, they do their notes on this player, and they could be one of the best players in the league. Like Trey Lance. Just didn't work out.
Oh, God, don't talk.
Then you got Tom Brady. Pick that 199. He's the greatest player of all time. Your greatest player of all time in the history of NFL was picked at 199. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really say the talent or which you're picked at 1 or you pick last like Mr. Irrelevant.
So I don't start a war in the comments. I'll just agree with you on who the GOAT is. So I don't start a war in the comments. So I'll just agree with that for now because I don't want to start a war. So I'll just agree. I don't want to start a war in the comments because Brady is not my GOAT, but we'll just leave that there.
Exactly. Hey, appreciate y'all for watching this video. If you stayed and watched me and Vance's first live stream. So we kind of was all over the place. Yeah, if we were kind of all over the place and you didn't like it a little bit or you clicked off or whatnot, it's just our first one, baby. Shout out. We're going to put some practice in. We're going to get all of our stuff going and whatnot. But this is just the first one of very many with Vance.
Hopefully.
We want to see some more out of Vance. I thank you for coming on the live stream, Vance. We got some more coming, more content for each other. And peace out, baby. God bless.
Love you, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.